Let's lock in. Did Devin look like a pound for pound fighter in his victory over Ramirez? No. He looked like a fighter who was scared to get punched on the chin. He ran the entire fight. And look, Devin is very gifted and talented. And he showed it in his fight with Kambosos, the rematch with Kambosos, tough fight with Vasily Lomachenko. Close fight. I thought Vasily won. People had it for Devin. I'm not going to argue with you there. To me, Vasily won, but I could see a draw. If you have it to Devin, I'm not going to argue with you. Devin's the young ascending superstar, and Vasily has been practically retired. So, that happens in the sport of boxing. You got to look at stuff like that. Devin got the victory. Cool. But he still was very talented, and he looked good in the early rounds. And maybe it was the weight. I spoke about the weight cut, everything. Maybe he was drained, and that made it harder for him to maintain the level he started to fight with throughout. But Vasily closed the gap and, to me, took the lead. But still very talented. He goes on and he fights Regis Prograis. And you can check the tape, check my ex. He dominates Regis. Looks very good against Regis. He even looks powerful against Regis. Dropped Regis, but to me, that would be to his detriment. I think he started to believe he was more powerful than he actually was, and I think he started to believe that he was a power puncher. He gets to fight with Ryan Garcia. He is a massive favorite in this fight. He's calling Ryan Garcia a C-level fighter, all types of stuff. His dad is so confident, said he's sending him in there to kill him. Ryan's running around, basically unraveling, appearing to be unhinged, saying he's drinking, smoking, whatever, doing all types of things. And then the fight happens. And Ryan lands a left hook. And to be honest with you, Ryan really didn't seem confident going into that fight. Because if you look at him, he seemed jittery. He seemed worried. He seemed all time. But he landed that left hook early, hurt Devin early. And I'm telling you, each moment the fight went on, his confidence just grew and grew and grew. He didn't look like a miraculous fighter to me in the fight with Devin. He just looked like someone who had superior hand speed. And anytime he landed his left hook, he could hurt Devin. But as I stated before, there were times when when Ryan Garcia would gas out, Devin would win that portion of the round. The difference between Devin and Rolly is Devin couldn't hurt Ryan. So that allowed him to recover and get a second win. See, the difference is when you punch hard enough to hurt someone and you hit them to the body, you're still taken away from their tank and their stamina and their reserves. But Ryan Garcia fought Devin Haney in spurts. And in those spurts, he was able to hurt Devin Haney and drop Devin Haney. That's how he beat Devin Haney. He didn't knock out Devin Haney, which is always why I said I feel like Devin Haney should want the rematch. He should want it back in blood. Because if he's able to neutralize the left hook, which he has a lot of skill, he has enough skill to do, particularly keep your right hand up. After you throw your punches, turn with the direction that the left hook would be coming in. Like throw your punches and then angle out to avoid the left hook, to roll with the left hook. Those are things you can do to take the sting off the left hook, all while keeping your hand up. If he would have done those things, I stated, I feel like he can win. I feel like if I'm watching him, I want that rematch. The whole Austin Reed thing, maybe it played a role, maybe it didn't. There's no evidence to prove it. So for me, I'm not focusing on that. But let's say it did play a role. I tighten up my defense to the left hook, my attack, everything. That's only going to make me look even better in the rematch. So I always stated he should want the rematch. He should want it. But watching him fight Ramirez was the first time that I watched Devin Haney and I felt like he was gunshot. He always utilized movement. He utilized movement against Gamboa, but he was more offensive-minded. He utilized movement against George Kambosos, but he was offensive-minded. So people trying to make it seem like he's being unfairly criticized. No, right? He always threw more punches than that. Shakur what he did was a type of Shakur De Los Santos type of performance. You can tell because his punch stats numbers were much lower than they've ever been in a 12-round fight. And to me, that's a psyche thing. He doesn't have the confidence in his chin like he used to. He used to have the confidence in his chin. He used to take a punch and just keep going. So I don't know if Devin still has it. I mean, he still looked athletic, but I'm going to be honest. It was against someone who isn't necessarily athletic, someone who isn't necessarily fast, someone who doesn't have good foot speed. Like, he was in there against Alfredo Angulo, El Perro, the dog. Like, he was in there against that type of fighter. And he ran and he won. And he did win because Ramirez, although he was putting on the pressure, was inactive and he didn't do anything. And Devin was landing the better punches. So Devin deserved to win. But to me, that version of Devin is the worst version of Devin that I've seen. He didn't look as good as he did when he beat Regis. He didn't look as good as he did when he beat Kambosos twice. Or even in his competitive fight with Vasily Lomachenko, which he still showed tremendous talent. He did not look that good. He looked like someone who was afraid of getting hit. And he looked like he was content with dancing and running all night to get to the final bell. Now, the one thing that I hope is an explanation for all this is it was his first fight back. He needed to knock off some rust, and he just wanted to get in the win column. But at some point, someone's going to test that chin. And that's when we're truly going to find out if Devin Haney is truly back. The best way I can put it, and I know people are going to call me a Devin Haney hater or whatever, because you're in it with your heart and not with your mind. I never questioned whether or not Devin Haney would regain his athleticism after the fight with Ryan Garcia. I never questioned whether or not he would be as fast, whether or not he would be as slick, whether or not his jab would be as good, whether or not he would be able to move around the ring as well as he did against Ramirez. What I questioned was his mentality as a fighter. Will he still be willing to pull the trigger when he needs to? Will he be able to take a punch? Those are still question marks that weren't answered with an opponent like Ramirez. We'll have to wait till later on down the line. But did he look like a fighter, a pound for pound best fighter against Ramirez? No, because I felt like he would have outclassed him. He would have made it more definitive. It would have been more exciting. He would have potentially got the stoppage, or he would have done so much damage to Ramirez that Ramirez would have quit on the stool type of fight. To me, this was supposed to be a showcase for Devin Haney. He was supposed to showcase that he was levels above Ramirez and get people excited to see the rematch with Ryan Garcia. Just like Ryan Garcia was supposed to spark out Rolly and get people excited, and it was supposed to be the perfect build up to the rematch that the world was anticipating, and instead it was a massive letdown. So for me, there's still questions about Devin Haney, but there may be another fight out there potentially for Devin Haney that could allow him to do everything I just stated in this video, and we're going to talk about that fight in the next video. So thank you for rocking with me. I appreciate you watching this video. You can like, share, subscribe. It's Caden. I'm out. Peace.